Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. Starring the jet-A Jerry O'Lace, Rocket J. Squirrel, and his pal, Bullwinkle the Moose.
Hi, glad to see you again.
Likewise.
We got some great things on the show today.
Like what? Like what?
Well, you ought to know, Bullwinkle. You're in some of them.
Well, let's get started.
Last time, you remember, Natasha had made Boris a happy heel by inquiring...
But, Boris, what is your fiendish plan this time?
I thought you'd never ask. And this one is a Lulu.
Yes, you remember that according to Professor von Beche's theory, the North Pole was so top-heavy with ice that the world was tilting over sideways and would soon have a new North Pole.
And where will the new North Pole be?
I give up, darling. Where?
Right here, Natasha, on the island of Rikki-Tikki. In a couple of months, we'll be living at the North Pole.
So?
So, who lives at the North Pole? I give you 3 guesses.
Santa Claus, Judge Crater, and the Lane sisters.
George Crater and the Lane sisters?
I didn't want to waste the other 2 guesses, darling.
Oh. So guess now who's going to be the new Santa Claus?
Oh, not you, Boris.
You're not just whistling Ochicharnia, huh?
But for badness sake, why?
Use your head, Natasha. Just think. First, I get to wear big white beard. In disguise, no?
I guess.
Then, on Christmas Eve, I start out in bulletproof sleigh and visit everybody's house. Down the chimney I go and...
It's Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Stick him up! And for the first time in history, Santa Claus carries presents up the chimney instead of down.
Oh, marvelous, darling.
Say, I could even visit the First National Bank. Ho, 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 ho! Here's a Christmas card from old Santa.
Season's greetings. Hand over the cash. But...
What's the matter? You don't have the spirit of giving?
But I thought...
And don't try to ring the alarm. My elves got you covered. Just think, from now on, Santa goes back to North Pole with a sleigh full of loot. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, boys. Here's your coat.
Thanks, Eddie.
And remember, try to double-cross jolly old Santy and you go for a one-way sleigh ride.
Yeah, sure,
Sandy, sure.
I tell you, Natasha, the Jingle Bells racket is worth billions.
Boris, this is the meanest, crookedest, most low-down thing you have ever done.
I thought you'd like it.
Unaware of all this, our boy Rocky the Flying Squirrel was still diving earthward, groggy from a blow on the head. Then at the last minute...
Where am I? Uh-oh. Gee, I must have blacked out for a second. I better land in that clear until my head stops buzzing.
Little did Rocky dream that that clearing was surrounded by the fierce natives of Rikki-Tikki, every native holding a sharp spear except for one who was holding a large pot and a cookbook. Meanwhile, back at the Moose, Bullwinkle was having troubles of his own.
Great gobs of gruffy dust. Things look mighty rugged down there.
They did that, for Bullwinkle was headed straight down toward a swamp full of man-eating crocodiles.
Yeah, and I got a hunch they're moose eaters, too.
Well, there was only one thing for an intelligent, cool-headed moose to do. He tried to climb up inside his parachute. Of course, the parachute instantly collapsed on one side and slid sideways, just enough sideways to carry Bullwinkle out of danger and let him land safely. No sooner had he hit the ground than...
Bullwinkle! Help!
That's Rocky, and he's in trouble.
Of course, Bullwinkle started off to Rocky's aid, but he'd forgotten all about his parachute, which at that moment enveloped him in yards and yards of yards and yards, so that he couldn't move. Well, it looks as if Rocky is really in a stew.
Not yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Be with us for our next red-hot episode, Soup's On, or Rocky Goes to Pot.
How do you like your new playhouse, Junior?
Not so hot, Dad.
Why do you say that?
Well, take a look at it.
Oh, my gosh, it's burned to the ground. How did it happen?
Well, I was playing house and I lit a fire in the fireplace.
There wasn't any fireplace in that playhouse, son.
I know.
Well, it serves you right. You know the old saying, he who plays with fire kindles disaster.
You got an old fable to go with that, too?
Not so old. I just made it up. It's called The Bears and the Dragon. Years and years ago, a large forest was ruled by a mighty king, Leo the 32nd.
What have we here? Oh, my loyal subjects have sent me 3 books for a birthday present.
They were How to Cook Lyonnaise Potatoes, Remember the Maine, and The Story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
The first 2 I've read, but the 3rd one has pictures.
Thus he pored through the book night after night until...
These nights are driving me crazy. I've got to have some myself.
And a royal proclamation was issued.
Hear ye, all ye who wish to become knights, better sign up today.
By the end of the week, every animal in the kingdom had donned a suit of armor.
I dub thee Sir Kerr.
King Leo and his knights took their places around the round table.
Whose deal is it?
But before they could break open a new pack of cards, a startling discovery was made.
We don't have any chips.
That wasn't what I meant, for one chair was conspicuously empty.
I'm in a daze. I've lost a knight.
Hear ye, one more knight is needed today.
These words fell upon the ears of 2 itinerant bears who, until now, had faced a rather grisly future.
Well, very interesting news, but I'm on my way to Yosemite.
Have a nice trip, Maxie, huh?
Well, aren't you coming with me?
No. I think I'll head up north. You know, the grunion or runyon.
Oh, well, take it easily.
Likewise.
Both of them were barefaced liars, for although they took a different route, they arrived at the king's castle at the same time.
Good night. There's only one vacancy.
So it was decided that the more courageous of the 2 would fill the spot.
Bear number 1. You slay the ogre that lives in the woods. Bear number 2, you rescue the fair maiden who is locked in the Black Tower. Whoever completes their task and returns to me first will be knighted.
And with that, both bears set off on their quests, and both bears ran into trouble.
Sorry, Buster, nobody gets into the woods today. The Elks are having a picnic.
Yeah, but I got to get into the woods, 'cause I'm supposed to slay the ogre.
But the fox wouldn't budge, so bear number 1 had to get into the woods by using strategy.
And a shovel.
There was nothing wrong with his ability to dig a tunnel, but there was with his sense of direction, for instead of coming up in the woods, he came up in the king's bathtub.
You'd better get going, or you'll never slay that ogre.
Sorry, Your Cleanliness.
Having failed to come up into the woods, he attempted to go down into the woods.
Geronimo!
His aim was faultless, which is more than can be said for his luck, for the wind caught the bumbershoot and... When next he appeared on the edge of the forest, he was wearing a clever disguise.
You're late, Elk. The picnic ended 2 hours ago.
Well, you mean I can go into the woods now?
Of course. Anybody can.
Look out, ogre! Here I come!
Meanwhile, at the Black Tower, bear number 2 was also having his difficulties.
What are you talking? I'm the one that needs our help. Why didn't you tell me the drawbridge was up?
Oddly enough, by nightfall, both bears returned from their missions, flushed with victory.
Bear number 2, did you rescue the fair maiden?
I certainly did, Your Grace. Ain't she cute?
Good heavens. Bear number 1, don't tell me you...
That's right, sire. I slew the ogre. Meanest one I ever saw. 5'2", eyes of blue, blonde hair.
The king would have taken drastic measures right then and there if it hadn't been for the untimely arrival of a fire-breathing dragon outside the castle wall.
Whoever slays the dragon, I shall knight immediately.
Both bears seized the opportunity and a bucket of what they thought was water.
I will put his fire out.
Oh, no, you won't. I will.
As it turned out, neither of them did, for the buckets were filled with gasoline, and one blast of the dragon's breath That was the last that was ever seen of the two bears. And that's why, Junior, he who plays with fire kindles disaster.
Yeah, you could say that, Pop. But if it were me, I'd say one good burn deserves another.
Takes after his mother, that boy.
Hello, mailmen! Today's dissertation is subtitled, How to Escape from Devil's Island and Get Away from It All. Supposing you were incarcerated on Devil's Island, and supposing further still you had served 10 years out of your 30-day sentence, you would want out. And this is how you would do it. First, you would put on your bathing suit, then walk out of your cell and go directly to the warden, who is standing on the edge of a high cliff.
Good morning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good morning to you, merciless jailkeeper. For my recreation period today, I am going to swim to the mainland. Having completely pulled the wool over his eyeballs, you make the leap, and you're on your way out. Fortunately, so is the tide. After returning to Devil's Island, they put you where they put all the incorrigibles, in the kitchen.
You going to peel potatoes till they're coming out of your ears?
This should give you an idea. Putting a potato in each ear, you jump into a sack and await shipment to a foreign port. Of course, there is always the danger they are having potato soup for dinner.
Whoever peeled these spuds did crummy job.
I'm doing the best I can. And that is how you escape from Devil's Island.
But, Mr. Know-It-All, you didn't get out.
I most certainly did, by joining the baseball team.
And that's how you escaped.
Sure. 3 strikes and you're out.
Hello again, Peabody here. Today, Sherman and I are going to visit a gym.
The YMCA's?
Mother Bowie's.
Never heard of it.
Not it, him.
I still
Never
don't...
mind. Get into the Wayback Machine. As I was saying, today we are going back to Mississippi in the year 1825, and we shall visit the legendary James Bowie, who created the Bowie knife. In less time than it takes to tell, we found ourselves on the main street of Biloxi, Mississippi, facing a somewhat ornate-looking restaurant.
Bowie's Beanery. Golly, I didn't know he owned a restaurant, Mr. Peabody.
Neither does he, evidently. There he is over there, sitting on the curb.
What are you doing out here, Mr. Bowie?
Gets pretty lonesome in that there restaurant all by myself.
What about your customers?
What's a customer?
Someone who eats your food.
No one eats my food.
He took us inside the deserted establishment and led us to a table on which sat a huge 4-pound, 2-inch thick porterhouse steak.
Mind if I take a bite, Mr. Bowie?
Not at all. I'll cut you off a hunk.
We stared in horror as Bowie produced a large bore revolver and pumped 6 shots into the steak.
Look, Mr. Peabody, he didn't even dent it.
This didn't bother our host, for he then picked up a large battle axe and deftly cut the table in 2. But not the steak.
Now you see why nobody eats here. They can't cut the steaks. I'm as good as room.
Have you tried a knife?
Oh, I wouldn't take the coward's way out.
No. I mean, have you tried a knife on the steaks?
Sure, but they just up and break. Watch.
What you need is a knife stronger than any in the world.
Yes, a Bowie knife.
Wouldn't do no good less than I can get it by dinner time. I got a steak eaters convention coming in here, and if they don't eat, I'm bankrupt.
Then there's no time to lose. We dashed across the street and into a general store.
Knives? What kind of knife?
What kind do you have?
Big and small and sharp and dull and...
This knife must be very unusual.
Only one like that is a factory reject. It's too big, too heavy, and too sharp. Here it is.
What he held up was to become famous as the Bowie knife.
What'll you give me for it? A nickel?
Suddenly, an unexpected voice rang out from in back of us.
A dime!
He's trying to outbid us, Mr. Peabody.
He wasn't the only one.
$50.
$1.
Yes, we were in the middle of a spirited auction.
$2. $3.
$4.
1,000.
Why do they want the knife so badly?
Well, that's quite obvious, Sherman. The little fellow is named Jack. He wants it to be called the jackknife. The portly fellow in the middle is named Pen. He wants it to be called the penknife.
Who's the man on the again?
Mr. Butterfield of the Butterfield stage line.
He wants to call it a butter knife?
No, he wants to call it a fork.
Well, why?
He's the village troublemaker. Just then, Bowie made his final bid.
$6,872. Sold.
Congratulations, Mr. Bowie. You now have your knife.
I will have if I can borrow some money from either of you.
You mean you don't have $6,872?
Well, not quite. I got a nickel, though.
That means we have to raise $6,871.95. And we didn't have much time, for a glance out the window revealed the Steak Eaters Convention was already entering Bowie's restaurant.
Golly, Mr. Peabody, we got 2 minutes to get the money.
Just enough time, for next door to Bowie's Beanery was the Biloxi Bank. In front of it were 3 horses with their motors running. That could mean but one thing, a holdup.
Mr. Peabody, you're going in the wrong direction. The bank's over here.
There was no time to explain. I made tracks to a schoolhouse on the edge of town. Seconds later, the robbers emerged from the bank, got on their steeds, and took off, going right past the schoolhouse. I thought it would be fitting and proper if they would be told off. So, cutting the school bell.
Neatest job outlaw kitchen I ever saw. Here's your reward.
$10,000.
All we need is $6,871.95. The remainder goes to the school bell fund. And so the school got its new bell, the storekeeper got his money, Bowie got his knife, and the steak eaters were able to cut their steaks.
Thanks, Mr. Peabody. I owe it all to you.
Poor Mr. Bowie having to lug those heavy steaks.
Yes, as you can see, it had a damaging effect on his legs.
My gosh, he's bow-legged.
Bowie-legged, Sherman.
Oh, Bowie, Mr. Peabody.
Touché, Sherman.
The travel books say that the South Pacific island of Rikki-Tikki is a land of nothing but fun, fun, fun. But in our last episode, Rocky was seized by natives who seemed to have some rather special dinner plans for him.
And that's no fun, believe me.
You hush mouth. No one's back talk from main course.
Of course, Bullwinkle landed by parachute just a short distance away. But as he started to Rocky's aid, the chute landed on top of him, and he started to stagger about blindly. And with our other 2 friends, the captain and the professor, hung up in a wait-a-bit bush, things looked pretty gosh-awful for our side.
Like it says, nothing but fun, fun, fun.
Meanwhile, back at the clearing...
Let's see. Who we invite to dinner, Sam?
What about Nararutu tribe?
We owe them dinner?
Sure. You remember they have us over last month for roast brisket of missionary.
Think squirrel big enough to go round?
Better add more carrots, Mobutu.
Who else we invite?
I'd like to invite somebody.
You? Who you invite?
The United States Marines.
Squirrel, pretty good sport, huh?
Very sweet kid. In fact, he's so sweet...
You gonna let me go?
No, but maybe we serve you for dessert instead.
Oh, boy.
Yes, Rocky was in hot water, all right, and he might have wound up as just another entry in the Rikki-Tikki Fireside Cookbook if just then...
Uh-oh. What that, Sam?
Nothing human, you bet.
Sound like great swamp spirit.
Oh, come on, Mobutu. This 20th century.
You got points, Sam. No great swamp spirit, huh?
No.
Then what that?
Sure enough, coming at them out of the gloom was an eerie, shapeless figure.
Well, no just stand there, Mobutu. Run!
I thought this was 20th century.
It is, but how we know great swamp spirit count that high?
You got points, Sam.
And the terrified Rikki-Tikkians fled for the bush. But at that moment, the great swamp spirit tripped over a root. There was a tearing sound, and out popped none other than...
Bullwinkle, it was really you with your parachute draped over you.
Yeah, I'm gonna write a letter to that company, and I'm...
Gee, that was a brilliant idea.
I'll tell them their ding-busted parachutes are a brilliant idea.
Sure, those natives thought you were the great swamp spirit.
Swamp spirit?
Sure, it's a ghost that's all white and creepy looking.
You mean like that thing there?
Bullwinkle!
Oh, get it? Oh!
I tried. that's your other foot.
Yeah, I figured that. Only one thing bothers me.
What's that?
What are you doing in that silly bathtub?
But this is...
I know it isn't Saturday, so why the tub?
But...
Full of carrots, too.
Oh, come on.
Never thought you'd go high hat, Rocky.
High hat?
You're the only fella I know who takes a 14-carat bath.
But while this gay badinage was taking place, the island of Rikki-Tikki was swinging farther and farther north. As a result, the temperature dropped suddenly, and our heroes found themselves in a very cold climate.
Bullwinkle, the weather's changing.
How can you tell?
Well, the barometer pressure's dropping.
Uh-huh.
And those are cirrus clouds up there.
True.
And besides...
Yes, yes.
The water's frozen solid, and I can't get out of this pot.
Oh, sainted Aunt Agnes McGee. Is Rocky doomed to remain a talking ice cube till this story is over? We'll find out more in Snowbank Squirrel, or Bullwinkle Gets the Drift.
Well, I guess that about wraps up another Rocky show.
Certainly hope you enjoyed it. I did. I always say...
Bullwinkle, time for us to go.
Already? Okay, but first, here are some of the people who made this show impossible.
That's not all.
My fingers get tired. Oop! Got away from me again.
Well, see you next time. Ready, Bullwinkle?